face off. We're gonna talk your face off. We're gonna talk your face off. Talk your face off. To talk your face off. Talk your face off. Talk your face off. Talk your face off.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to a Pablo-less live stream. And it's going to be that way. He unfortunately had a mistake in one of his projects he's working on for a client. And so he had to call it in order to get it straightened out for his deadline. So I'm going to be going live today. So all those things that we talked about on there, the car crash, all that, hopefully he'll be here next week to tell us about it, because he had some crazy stuff going on that happened in front of his house, and, you know, race recaps, all kinds of stuff. He's going to talk about all he's been watching is rally stuff. We've been talking, so we've been chatting, but I've been doing rally stuff and I'm so excited about it. But yeah. What's going on, guys? These old flapping lips, corn freak, RC Jeep guy, JMRCs, John Martin, what's up? Hey, there's another guy with a motorcycle that wants to meet up too. So I had mine up at Walter RC Park this past week, and so I think he heard about us being there and was saying that he had wanted to get together with people with the motorcycles. So we may have to try to schedule some kind of a meetup for it. So yeah, so Pablo won't be here tonight. I'll have to probably keep mentioning that throughout the evening, but yeah. I ran all right, so talking about my week, since I just mentioned it. Hola, Harley Designs. What we're basically going to do tonight, since Pablo's not here, is I'm just going to put on the Scale News update and just let it roll for a little bit, and I'm just going to sit back here and just catch up. What's going on? Hey, Michael Lucre, what is up, dude? Been a minute. We used to chat all the time. I miss it. And with Steve as well. Just been so, everybody just kind of went different ways. I see my light got returned. Are there any good 1/10 scale clay tracks up there? Endo's RC. There's one Grand River RC that's in Grand Rapids. I haven't been there yet, but they have an indoor like carpet track, and then they have an outdoor clay. Walter RC has a 1/10 clay track on their exterior, as well as an oval track and a little bash area. And they just built a mini RC course as well, but they also have a bunch of stuff for 1/10 scale trail trucking and rock bouncing and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, all kinds of stuff. Both corn freaks are here. We got a lot of corn freaks in the house. So my updates are going to be, I took the Supermoto out. I haven't shown this video yet. I have video footage. I have multiple video footages of the Supermoto, the low C, running that I haven't gotten to edit yet. More outside my side yard, but I also took it up to Walter RC Park, and I ran it there terribly on their 1/10 scale track. But it was super fun on the oval, which is what I think would be really fun with JMRCs and another person. If we have 3 people doing the oval track with the low C dirt bikes, would be super rad. So it's all about throttle control, cornering. I was experimenting with the different modes, and I felt like the street mode worked best for me because it got more lean and cornered better. So yeah. Dirt Devil Speedway, Battle Creek. There's several up here, and there's more on the east side too. So, but yeah. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Great Lakes Gauntlet tonight. We did a live stream about it last week. Man, with it being in the widescreen version, you can really see how messy this stuff is. It normally gets cropped out in the mode that Pablo and I usually do, which is more like this. So I'm seeing more of the mess over there. Plus, we went fishing this weekend, and it didn't get put away right. Sandpit in Jonesville, Michigan. All right. So yes, I took the low C up there, tried to do on the 110 scale track. Way too tight. The corners that they have there are very difficult. I was trying to film, so it didn't help me out, but I still feel like with the way that the bike has to lean left and right, that the corners that they have in one section are too tight to do it. If that section didn't have the double, like the super hairpin to another tight corner, would be all right. If you watch my Sen rally video I just posted, you'd see it. It's like an immediate like hairpin turn to a left. It's just really hard with the motorcycle to get it to do that. You'd have to go really slow. But if it was just one single hairpin there and coming back up, I think the course would actually be doable. But yeah. What's my favorite spin caster? Are you a fisherman, Harley? I'd actually prefer my bait caster reel. I've got a couple of mock pros here. Now I have to be very careful because I have ceiling fans going. And I've seen videos where they get chopped off at the end. But this is the Mach Pro by Luz. I also have the Mach 2, which I got only because of the green color. Oh, I can't get back in here. So I have that, plus I have the spin caster version of it. And I have the green spin caster of it, the Mach Pro 2. No, not the Mach Pro, the Mach 2. And I have the Mach 2 of the bait caster as well. So I have quite a few Luz. We also have the Mach Smash in there. So if you're into fishing, there's a lot of Luz reels over there. The bait casters, though, man, you can get them dialed right where you want them. And I actually, so since we're talking about this and there's people talking fishing, and because my description actually says that we talk a little bit about RCs and then whatever tangent we want to get onto. Yeah, so the bait caster, I actually have one that's just straight mono on it, which is my Mach Pro, and that's my favorite. The other one has why can't I think of the name of it? The fabric one. Yeah, my brain I'm getting old. What is that line called? Braided line. It has a braid and then it has mono, or it has braid and then it has like a floral line on it. Either way, but I hate replacing it all the time. I'd rather just, for what we're fishing for smallmouth, just we get stuck on stuff and snagged and bottom drag and all that. I'd rather just have mono on there and just go for it. So anyway, that's just my preference. Not very braid. Yes. Thank you, Harley. Spider wire. No, it's braided. I've got heavy braid on because we were doing a lot of frogs. In fact, there's one sitting right here in front of my light box with a frog. I think it's a lunker hunt. But yeah, we do a lot of fishing here. I've been doing a ton of it this summer. So sorry, YouTube. We've been fishing this summer. It's been fantastic, and I don't actually apologize for it. We've been catching a ton of smallmouth. Super fun. They fight like a beast. They're river fish, so they're not like lunkers. They're like pretty healthy and fit, I would say. They're not just like super fat fish, but they fight like nobody's business. So you get a good 2-pounder even out here on the river. Those things fight like mad. So I don't know, they're 14 to 16 inches, maybe 18. Around that'll be about a 2-pounder fit. And I just caught one the other day. Super fun fight underneath the boat, all over the place, just jumping out of the water. And yeah, man, it's what to go for. We've got a spot. I won't say where it is, but we can get on the smallmouth like crazy and be just reeling them in nonstop for a bit. So we do a lot of bottom bouncing. So we do a lot of Ned rigs and just like the skirted jigs kind of things, and with either crawfish or whatever, and just let it bounce. And those things just eat it up. And yeah, so it's been good. But you get snagged every once in a while. But we're just looking for rock on the bottom. And when you just start hitting the rock and you're feeling it bounce, you're like, oh, this is smallmouth territory. And we've been getting on it. So we originally thought, everyone kept saying that the river was all about smallmouth out behind us. And we're like, oh, we're catching his largemouth. Well, we found them, and we go hunting for them nowadays. And it's not always a lot of river fishing, shore casting, and all that within a couple inches. But the smallmouth surprisingly are further out, kind of on that seam of the current. And if you can find rock on the bottom, and they're just looking in it for the crawfish and the worms and all that, strike gold, baby. So yeah, we got a couple spots we've just, as we've drifted downriver, we found where you just feel the baits bouncing. Hey, I got this stuff right here. So while we're not talking about RC, I'll buy these Ned rigs kind of in bulk, like this, with the little weed guard on it. And then this is probably the best one that you can get, are these Lunker Hunt finesse baits in a green pumpkin for it here in the river. We do them in all different colors, but the green pumpkin, I mean, I'll go through, I don't know, maybe 100 of these in the summer. And they're just absolutely fantastic. They just crush the smallmouth and the largemouth, either one. The bass just eat these things up. So, I probably need a new one anyway. We'll just get it all lined up for you guys here. But I mean, I couldn't have done that more straight. And I mean, pressure was on. We're live. I could not have done a straighter push through on that thing. This thing's going to get gobbled up like crazy, guys. I'm just going to say. All right, now to RC cars. So, yeah. I mean, this stuff right here, these little Ned rigs are absolute gold. And we can't get them, like Cabela's doesn't carry them, so I order them from like Tackle Warehouse. I ordered them from Lunker Hunt until they lost my order like 3 times. DHL transferring to USPS somehow. Just kept, every time they'd reship it, get lost. Never make it to USPS. So I got them from Tackle Warehouse, and they are absolute money. So anyway, now you know. That's what I fish. Those finesse jigs from Lunker Hunt. And the blue and black, if it's like right after rain or whatever, and it's cloudy and murky, but it's just different. I never fished a river before, and then we moved onto a river, and we couldn't catch squat. We're just throwing out every kind of swim jig and every whatever, not catching anything. And then we went on a guided tour of the Muskegon River here, and we were throwing these Ned rigs, and we were throwing crawfish on them, and they were because on this one's actually one with a skirt on it, same thing, but you could do that, or I'm just gonna set that there. Yeah, either one, let it just bounce the bottom. So different for the river, but yeah, we do a lot of fishing. We've been doing a lot of disc golfing, although it's been pretty humid, and RCing. So we went up and did the comp last week. I don't remember what place. I think it took 3rd place. I didn't do super good. Ed Duchemin said smallies are my all-time favorite. They're really good. Striped bass are fun. I would love to hit some of the rivers on the West Coast, up in Washington, Oregon, California. I think there'd be some really fun rivers to fish up there, but over there. Michigan, though, however, has a ton of awesome stuff. to fish, rivers, streams, creeks, lakes, all kinds of stuff. But we're gonna hit up more of them here, hidden fall. And we've already fished quite a bit this summer in places. We went out on Lake Michigan, did some king salmon fishing. That was pretty awesome. And yeah, so lake trout, some big lake trout, huge lake trout. Shaky rig's good too. We also do wacky worms, but really bouncing off the bottom is really the best for us. So yeah, Senko worms work. Yep. All of the above, but letting them just with the river and the current, you just cast upstream, just bounce the shoreline down, and they'll just hit it super hard. So, so yeah, so I went up to Walter RC this week. We ran a couple of RC cars, and we ran I wanted to run the Fury again, the Fury wagon by Furitech, and we ran that, and I also ran the CR18P, the Harvest, which is very similar in design and shape. And with the dual speed, on that, it actually crawls really slow and pretty good on that CR18P. I'll be honest, the brush one crawled pretty stinking good. Same tires, same wheels, a lot of similarities except for electronics. The Furitech definitely is a step above for just control on speed. A lot of the same characteristics, though, with the way that I just find like it really needs to be overdriven, in my opinion, because it just pushes the front end gets pushed so much on that whole setup of that car for me. And it may just be the tires. We're going to be switching out the wheels and tires, but we want to run it stock as long as we can, just so people that are buying it for their first or just buying it as a stock truck, maybe as their only one and don't have upgrades, we want to know how it's going to perform. So we're just testing it stock, and then we'll start switching out wheels and tires. I think that'll be easily a big upgrade, just doing that, getting some brass wheels on it and better tires. And I think it'll really compete. But yeah, it's just the John B channel. I know what John B is. I'm guessing it's a fishing channel. Oh, Rock Wolf, I hope you're coming to the Gauntlet. Super want to meet you, man. How are you? Ed, you coming Saturday, Jim? Open course. Oh, is that up at your place, Ed? Trout salmon. Yep, just been lazy, says JMRC's. John B. McElmore from Woodstock, Alabama. See, Harley's all on it. Do you watch a bunch of fishing stuff on here as well, Harley? I follow a lot of the top fishermen. Well, we do a lot of the Guggen stuff. I got called out for my wardrobe last week with the swim jigs on it. But yeah, all I do want to say here, while it's still early into we've been going almost 20 minutes solo, but I just want to say the Sen Racing Ford Puma Rally 1 is stinking amazing, guys. So I was kind of complaining a little bit about the steering and rocks getting jammed in there. Turns out, I was shaking rocks out and send it back out to get jammed again, shake it all out, get jammed. When I went to Ultra RC Park, it was happening, and I'm like, this can't be happening. And I looked, and there's one stone, and I bet it was jammed in there from the beginning, because the way that the tub chassis meets like that front bulkhead and all that kind of comes in, there's a little ridge under there. And so there was this rock that was perfectly able to get stuck under there. So when it shakes stuff out, it wouldn't come out. It was like, it was stuck under there, but it would move over enough that it would jam up the steering, but it would never come out. It would stay stuck under. So I had to pry it out of there. And ever since then, no steering jams. It's been absolutely amazing. Rocks get in the chassis, but nothing messing up the steering again. So I think it was one of those like fluke things where it just happened to be the worst case scenario of a rock getting jammed up under that I could have had. So We were running it on clay, but there's a lot of rock and stuff on it up there, Walter RC, on both the oval and on the dirt track. And once I pulled out the one jam because even on the oval, I was getting stuck, and I'd take it off and shake it out, take it out there, keep getting the steering issues. And when I finally saw that there was a rock stuck up under there and ripped that out, never had any more issues. So I kind of feel like it's probably not a problem unless you have like a really bad luck kind of situation that I had, because nobody else had that issue. So, yeah. Anyway, it's been absolutely fantastic after, even off-roading, even in the dirt, even in the rocks, no more issues. And so that little kind of caveat that I had in my first video of how annoyed I was with it, and that's what really tore up the body as well, because I was getting into these little tiny trees and these really thick weeds, and it's like ripping up the side of the body. If I'd have had the control of not losing the steering, none of that would have happened. So that one bad worst case scenario situation kind of messed it all up. So yeah. Ivan says Guggen Squad. Yeah. The Pirate Mad Jack says I want the Sen to run against my HPI. I'm curious how they would compare, actually. I'm very curious. John Martin's talking about his brakes on his motorcycle. I haven't broken anything on mine yet. Yes, Rock Wolf. It was the perfect shape rock to get stuck up in there. It was odd. It's like a shark tooth almost, really thin, and had this kind of V shape to it, and it was just a problem. But now it's out. I haven't had any more issues. So that was one thing, RC, that I've been doing. I ran the mini trucks. We were testing out the courses for Great Lakes Gauntlet, and we're gonna have 2 different mini courses for them, and we'll have an 18 scale that'll also double as our 12 and under. That'll be a little bit wider gates, so that'll be good. So that was my other thing to talk about, was the Great Lakes Gauntlet, was that in particular. I know Jeff Walter's been out there, Dave Walter. They've been working hard to get ready because of the storm that we had the other week, 2 weeks ago now, I guess. Really hit them hard, and lots of debris, lots of trees down in the trail system that they have out there, and they're trying to clear it out. So it's been pretty busy. Pretty busy for them. When we went out there, I guess they also had it also tore up some of the crawler course up front with the bridges and all that, the wood stuff that they had. Their big Mackinac bridge got ripped down, and some of the stuff that lead up to it. So they're working on rebuilding and repairing all of that. But yeah, it's been a lot of work for them because of the storm. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got I'm probably going to be running my 2 Vanquishes on the main trails there. So the first time that I ever went to the Gauntlet, I took my my Ultra, and I think this time I'll be taking the Ready to Run Phoenix. I'll probably take them both, honestly, because they're both probably my top 2 performing crawlers right now, and the trails there can be pretty tough with some of the rocks. So they'd be my 2 choices right now for what I'm going to run. So I do have to replace, I think, something with the steering link on the front of it, because I found out after the Horizon RC Fest, when I let Bari Musauerson run it, it did come back a little bit damaged and with them in muddy. So I cleaned it all up. It's all clean, but I think it was in the steering link I have to replace, because it got beat pretty hard. But it took so much. I couldn't believe the amount of abuse that thing took that weekend. So HPI's a beast. Gyro helps a ton for power sliding. I bet it does. So I just posted a video of the Sen one. I have more footage. Like I said, the motorcycle running there, it was great for oval, not for the 1/10 course. And I'll probably post some of that. Maybe I have a video of that, but I definitely have one of the crawler course for the 18th scale with the Fury Tech and the CR18P. But I really want to do a video now because I think a lot of what I was complaining about with the high centering of um, the Fury Tech, I think it also is happening with the CR18, which I didn't really count that as an issue with those before when I was doing the rock fan testing and all that. And I think a lot of it is the courses I have set up and the lines that I'm used to taking are for 24 scale, which with the tighter wheelbase makes it so that the wheels stay in contact instead of high centering. So I think some of it may just be my spatial awareness of running them. So I want to run a test with the TRX 4M. I've got one all charged up, ready to go. The CR18P, the FuryTech Fury Wagon, and I actually we haven't talked about this here, but I've had this for quite some time. Bought it at Reaction RC, and yeah, it is the black version of this. I really wanted the orange one, but he didn't have it anymore, so I got the black one, and it's probably sat in this box for about 2 months now. So it's probably about time we pulled it out and did some tests with it as a box stock versus the other ones in the same class of the 18th scale, just to see how they all compare and whether or not what I thought was high centering was a problem with that truck and the chassis design, or if it's just the 18th scale wheelbase that I'm not used to running. So, but I'm kind of almost at the point with the Fury Wagon where I'll probably hit it with a grinder and just slide up that whole back end of that chassis a little bit, just in case. Like I don't need it sitting down below the links, so I'd rather just kind of taper it up. But that was the only one thing that I saw with that in particular. And overall, I still think it's the best ready to run mini RC that I've ever driven out of the box. And that's even compared to the other FuryTech, the Cayman Pro or the Cayman. So I think the Fury Wagon definitely kills it. So Ty Joe says I was in Manistee this weekend, did some beach crawling, got 2 5-gallon buckets of Lake Michigan rocks for my backyard crawler course. Nice. Don't know if that's illegal or not. I don't know if I'd be posting that online. But hey, you do you, bro. Servo and crash plate. Seen some with servo issues, but only a couple so far. That's these old flapping lips. I'm thinking that's about the motorcycle still. Yeah, so I actually haven't driven it. I have pulled it out so my kids could look at it because it's not like taped up or anything to show. They're actually really beautiful. The stance is kind of, I think, but oops, that's upside down. Just the way that the wheels sit just kind of seems a bit high to me. So just, I would like it a little more tucked up, even pre-suspension a little bit. But it's, even when you got the weight down, it still sits kind of high, and the links being so downward angled is kind of, I'd rather be a little more flat. Guess it's pretty close when you set it down. Here, let me put it on the box. Not terrible. We've seen lifted trucks like that here in Michigan. But I just haven't been a fan of these axles with any of them yet. So I think that's my biggest hang up with it, is the steering is not super great. So you have to do a little swap on the little stopper and all that. But Yeah, I had foam in the wheel well, but it wasn't really stopping anything. It was just tucked up there. So I guess it's pretty straight. It sits pretty high though. But yeah. I don't know. Most of my basis, I guess, is off the first FCX 24. These tires feel a lot better than that, of course. So we'll run it and see. But I've been more of a performance-based guy, so hard bodies aren't my thing. Like, I don't love the wobble effect of it. But other than that, it's a pretty sweet-looking body. Again, just feels a little short. But we need to do some testing, so I'll get it out and we'll test it. Yeah, shocks are oil ready. You just got to put the little adapters in them. It comes with the stuff just like the monster trucks. You can make the shocks oil filled if you want, which is pretty cool. They give you the O-rings and all that if you want to take the time to do it. Just little things. Just the little details. It'd be awesome if they were pre-oil filled. And it'd also be awesome if the monster trucks came with the speed motor pre-installed. The cost is so minimal that it would just make sense to save people the work of doing it. But yeah. Yeah, the body does have really nice paint on it. I will give it that. It's clean. It's super, super shiny, super high end gloss finish on it. The molded parts do look really good. The mirrors look very breakable because they are not flexible. They're hard plastic. So it's stuff like that where I just know how I run them. It looks awesome, but I'm gonna break it. It's gonna. Those mirrors are a goner. Probably day one. Day one goners. Troy Posty says stock rims, tires, and shocks. Bin 'em, LOL. Aftermarket all day. Yeah. Yeah, you can make it into a pickup truck. You're right that the top does come off of it. It'll help with the weight. I don't necessarily like the look of it as much as with the back on it, but it is cool that they made it so that that's possible. I'll definitely give them that. Yeah, very, very clever. Again, it just makes the proportions seem odd to me when you do take it off because look at how long the hood is on it. And then you take this back off and it just kind of becomes proportionally weird to me. Like this should all kind of, if you're going to cheat it, that'll probably push that a little bit forward. But again, hindsight, and I'm not the designer, so there's no rear window. Looks goofy without the canopy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it looks that bad, but I'm sure people have made ways to fix that too. But yeah, you take it off in the 80s and that window would just slide down, so it's kind of normalish. Lawn chairs and pony cakes in the back, says these old flapping lips. Yeah, there's still quite a few of these old Blazers that run around up here. It's amazing. In Michigan, even. I don't know where they got them from, what state they brought them up from, because relive the glory days. But I can't believe they aren't all rust buckets up here. Again, the steering was such an issue for me with the first one. I didn't like kind of the link setup as well. Um, it's got the wishbone on both the front and rear uppers. They're really short. I don't know. Wasn't my favorite design with the exposed lowers either. So there's just a couple things where it didn't really work for me, and I'm not really the portals also. And I know that the Fury has them; they're different. Um, the portals for me are kind of like this false sense of height clearance that you get, and then you just get stuck on the chassis when you get in there. Like you high center, you do whatever. Like with the other ones, I plan my route much better knowing that I got to get that diff through. And if the diff makes it through, guess what? It's not going to hang up the center. Whereas if this gets through, there's a very good chance you're still going to high center on the skid plate. So give and take on the clearance of portals for me. But I've found that I drive worse with the portals than I do with trucks that have a straight axle, and I am much better about my tire placement because of worrying about diff hang up. So yeah. Anyway, to each their own. I know a lot of people love portals. A lot of people love this truck. I haven't even given it a chance yet, so I haven't driven it. So we'll be doing that soon. But yeah, there's FearTech has a flat skid, but FearTech also has a really long chassis, really long. I don't have it. I don't have it here. I don't think. Oh, it's over there. I do have it over there. But there was also where the links come in. It kind of bumps down again, so it's flat, but it's not flat. You got ribs here and here to hang up. So if you get stuck in the middle, then trying to get it over that lip either side can be a little tricky. And then if you do get it over that, then you've got the chassis that goes pretty far back. So nothing's perfect. Everything's got its little flaws. But yeah, I just call everything how I see it. And it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just the way that I look at it. And everybody looks at positives and disadvantages in different ways. So, what they've been able to create with the hard body for this and for the TRX 4M also is pretty awesome, pretty spectacular. So, good evening, GNCRC. But yeah, what else? Harley showed some cool new stuff I saw. I haven't been able to keep up with the RC world as closely as I have for the past 6 years. The last 3 to 4 months have been pretty busy, and it's probably the least catch up. And some of it was RC stuff that I was involved in that really set me back. But I feel like I was in the know on some of it because we had the Send truck and we got some other new stuff. But there's other stuff where I just feel like, wow, I didn't even see it coming. And I saw the motorcycle, that kind of stuff at Axial Fest. But it's just been July and August specifically have felt very disconnected after how busy June was in the months preceding it. So I feel like I'm just trying to play catch up at this point, trying to even see what is even coming out. But that new Cross looked pretty cool. I'm always a fan of a Unimog. I really wish that Axial would make an awesome Unimog version of the SCX24, even though they said it'll never happen. I still can wish for it. But yeah. Trying to see which Troy posted, which one you said you lifted it up so the link positions as mounting to the chassis also sits flush with the chassis. Is that what you did with this truck? Or with something else? Just curious which one you lifted the links and everything on. C-Dubs runs the TRX4 in the river all the time, 1/10. Yeah, man, those things. When I had my TRX4, water all the time. But I had the one that had the locking diffs and all that, so I tried not to go so high that those servos would get wet because I was just worried about them. So I would run axles, try not to get the chassis too much in. I can't say that happened every time. There's times I submerged it, but and then yeah, clean it down, try and get it, let it dry out after, blow a fan on it, all that kind of stuff. But I'm sure it all rusted up like crazy in it. Rusted like crazy. Where's that box? Oh, no. I just got this in the mail, the high roller. So we just did a quick unboxing for Instagram of this. We're going to be doing some testing with this. We got some new foams in, again, from Crawler Innovations to test out with different wheel and tire combos. So we've been doing some testing with a lot of their stuff. Works really good in these. So basically very similar with the inner size of this, but then having a little extra foam too, if you want it, to fill in some of that air gap. Lots of options coming from them. Farm mining runoff water here in Wisconsin sucks for RC. I bet. Holy cow. I bet there's a lot of silt and stuff in there. Oh, there we go. Yep, FMS chassis lift skid up and forget about the 4 chassis mounting holes. Use link holes to fix it to the chassis. Lift the skid and drop the axles on the chassis to regain some LCG. Ah. Interesting. Interesting. So you had to do some drilling. It's my guess. Which it's a plastic chassis, so that wouldn't be too hard to do. Hey, Tony Clifton's in the house. How's you jerky lips doing tonight? Doing all right, my man. We're a little slow tonight. Don't have Pablo here to banter with, but got a few new RCs in that we're going to be doing some testing with. Most of them mini stuff. Trying the 18 scales just to see high centering. This one actually doesn't seem like it would as much. Honestly, where I was high centering the others, it just feels like it would kind of wrap some of that better. So I'll be curious to see how it does compared to the Fury Wagon, the TRX 4M, and the Hobby Plus. Was shaking bacon? I could use some bacon. What's shaking? I can use some bacon bits. I can use some bacon on some. You know what I'd like is a like a potato bar with some bacon on it, some cheese, sour cream, chives, all the fixins. 30 minutes of work, Troy says. Okay, you need spacers and a 2mm drill bit. Yeah. Troy, please keep it to 100 characters or less. Thank you from the management. Right? Silt fertilizer manure does wonders on bearings. Yeah, we got that kind of stuff. Hi, Ty Joe. What's up? Um, yeah, we've got. I wouldn't take it in the water around here because we got so many cow farms and all that kind of junk. It is like, well, there's a like a milk processing facility probably 5 minutes from here. Huge factory. All the trucks drive in with milk and all this junk to make. I don't know what they make, cheese or cottage cheese or what. But like Fairlife, I think is the brand, and that's like some high end milk that we never buy, like a sports milk, sports drink. Fairlife Nutrition, ultra filtered milk distributed in Canada, China, and the United States by the Coca-Cola Company. So yeah, there's a Fairlife here in Coopersville. Yeah, that's the one. Yep. All that kind of stuff. But man, certain days you drive through and you just smell the manure from those cow farms. It's most days. But there's certain times when you don't have to be driving past it when it's really humid and everything just drops, like the dew settles in. Just like this canopy just keeps the stench down. It's awful. The lacrosse. Looking you up. Here, lacrosse. I don't see it. I'm not seeing lacrosse. The problem starts when you can't smell it anymore. Right? No, so I often joke. So when you tell people you're from Coopersville, they say, "Oh, Poopersville," and you're like, "Haha, I get it. Yep, funny." But I will say that Coopersville has a landfill, and you never smell the landfill. Like you could not have put a landfill in a better area than directly across the street from a cow farm that is producing milk and a lot of other poo and things that they use for manures and whatnot. So well done, Coopersville, and disguising the smell of the landfill. Well done. What's up, JMRCs? Oh, La Crosse, Wisconsin. I see. Due West. Hey, did you hear Arma coming out with a new release soon with 4S? I did not. Again, not having not been in the loop recently. Is it a street car? I was asking them to come out with a rally car. I kind of am hoping now it's a rally car, even though they said it wouldn't be a rally car, because rally car really does do better when you have a fully licensed one like Zen did, and Arma doesn't do fully licensed vehicles, so it'd be tough. Eastern PA, what's up, Nick's Hobbies channel? Arma's coming out with a new 4S paperweight. Their 4S Outcast was pretty rad. I have one of those. And I actually run it more than my 6S Outcast. I just find that one battery vehicles are easier. I don't have any single 6S batteries. That's like pretty massive to me. So everything I do over 4S is 3S batteries, which becomes a pain kind of in the butt to deal with. When I could just charge up one battery and go, and again, 6S just costs so much more to get a 6S battery than a 4S. that it's just like 3S, 4S vehicles are where it's at for me. Like, I absolutely love them. So, the 3S lineup of the Armos are probably my favorite still, like the Big Rock and all that. But that Outcast it's a maniac. So it's a stunt truck for sure. I also don't have skate parks or run skate parks. So maybe the bigger ones would be better because I could see breaking plastic ones there. But because I mainly run on dirt and grass, I'm okay with the plastic. But I'm also for keeping things cheap. Like the what really sold me on the 3S lineup was the price point. When they first came out was like $300. Now I think it's up to like 330, 350, depending on which ones you get, maybe 380. But at the time, for a brushless systemed vehicle, was really low as far as price. They were pretty much competing with China at that $300 brushless level with that lineup. And yeah, but the size, I like the size and the weight of the 4S vehicles and the 3S vehicles. It's just much more manageable to me, like, I don't know, it's just something I like. So it's not everybody. Some people love the big, massive 6S and 8S and all that kind of stuff, but there's something to me now as I get more, the more I'm into it, um, it's just more manageable to take with me and use and whatnot with the smaller, lighter, whatever. But I think also, like I just keep saying, that the more that I have, the less likely I am to run any of them because it's just so overwhelming at this point. That I'm just focusing on selling a bunch so I can get back to like only having to worry about so many of them that I'm running, uh, and just enjoy the ones that I have. So, I think now the minis are a little different story. They're small enough, they stay out of the way enough. You can throw them in bins and whatever. But the big ones are really become, the more that I have, the more overwhelmed I am by it. Um, so I'm just trying to reduce the number because I find that I just don't run them because I don't even want to deal with trying to figure out where. So I was joking with my wife. I was going to post something that says, you know, how long does the RC? How long do you run your RC for? An hour, right? Like I run it for an hour. I can get an hour of run time. I spend 30 to 45 minutes trying to find the remote for it and the battery that works with it or the adapter for the battery to run it. And then I get like 15 minutes of runtime with it after I'm completely frustrated trying to find where the radio is and the right battery to run it. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy how you'd think that, more is better, but it's become, at this point for me, such a management issue of that kind of thing. Even going out to run the other day when I went to, I still can't find, honestly, the battery for my Promoto. I don't know where it is. I don't know where the only 2S I have that fits in it. Luckily, I found another one I could really force into it to run it there, but I have no idea where in all of this stuff it is. And then I couldn't find the right. I took the Datsun up there, but I couldn't find the right radio for it. I had the one for the DK10, and I couldn't find where in all these hundreds of radios that one was, and I don't know where it got misplaced. So that kind of stuff is just like, I didn't have that problem when I only had 10 RC cars. I knew where every little thing was for them. The little spare parts I had, there was only so much stuff. But yeah, it gets crazy, you guys. So that's just a warning to you. Don't let it overwhelm you. So I'm back to trying to enjoy what I have by getting rid of a lot of what I have so I can enjoy the ones that I want to enjoy. So but it didn't take long for that to happen. It happened real quick. I have them labeled, man. It's not even about having them labeled. I knew which one I had, and I could not find the one that I needed. So, yeah. Because I have like 5 spots where radios are right now, from the basement 3 spots in the basement. They could be the garage, the upstairs of the garage. It could be in the car from when last time I drove it and never got pulled out. Yeah. What's up, Scoobers? I just use a silver Sharpie. I don't even bother with the label maker because that stuff wears off faster than the marker does. So I silver Sharpie them and just label them. I don't have any reaching distance. I can see that one over there. It says Camel TRX4M. So I know what that one goes to. And then all of them will be like Bronco. That one says gold. Yeah. So they're all labeled, but finding it. But yeah, silver Sharpie on the bottom or the back. Usually the back so I can see it when it's on a shelf. Yeah, I'll just grab some. Just so you know, I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt. Camel TRX4Ms. This one is CCXRC White Jeep, which we don't even have anymore. That one got given away at Axial Fest Badlands. So that one's not a very good marker labeling. Oh, man, it would be really cool if they came out with a 4S Big Rock. That would be killer. Or a 4S Granite. A little bit bigger. I could go for that. How many you got? How many cars are too much, Stephen A. Smith? Realistically, I mean, depending on how many classes you run and how many different things, over 30. But there's over 100 here. There's probably 150 plus. That depends if you're counting tanks and if you're counting, man, even just the Kyosho minis. Now I'm thinking of that. There's like 5 or 6 of those. SCX 24s alone, there's probably 20. TRX 4Ms, there's at least 4. Hobby Plus, there's 3 or 4. FMS, there's 8. The Furatech Hiroshima, the Gold Digger, the Furatech Fury, the Furatech 6x6, the Cayman Pro, the Furatech Monster Truck. There's probably 8 Furatech trucks here. And so we're still counting the minis. I think I have 5 LMTs. I think there's one of every of the 3S Armas. Vortex, Big Rock, Granite, Typhon. So there's, I mean, there's a lot. Infraction, felony, 3 SMT 10s, probably 10 crawlers, probably 6 freestyle RC ones, or 8 maybe of those. All the big ones. I got a bunch of 5th scale ones. I mean, it's like beyond manageable. So riffs and drag cars, the Red Cat. I've got the Tamiya semi trucks, 2 of those, the Tamiya racing semi trucks, the Kyosho on-road cars from the Chargers, the Chevelle, the 57 Chevy. I mean, like when you just keep going, the Red Cat low riders and 8 to 10 Clodbusters, Tamiya Clodbusters. So yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the I look at my life and like I can't even think about it. Like I want to run one, but I don't even know where to begin at this point. Like to find the stuff that I need just to go out and grab it and run it is like just an hour getting ready just to find it all and get it all set. The Raminator, which is still in pieces on the table in the middle of the garage, tearing up space. I've got the Bari build, custom 1/5 scale monster truck, DBXLE, the Outcast 8S. There's the STX6, the Losi 5T. I mean, just in the big boys, there's 10 or so. So yeah, it's stuff's fallen on me everywhere I go. And so I'm kind of just like, yeah, Troy posted it. 10. I've got COD chassis ready to be built. I've got all of the parts for the custom axles for Clodbuster that J Concepts came out with from Shapeways. I think it's like a $400 just in axle built, like 3D printed parts from Shapeways for a Clodbuster for race axles. And they haven't even been built. They're just in a box. I have another J Concepts regulator chassis just sitting there. I've got a Diaz Designs leaf sprung monster truck setup waiting to be built. The Unimog, a buddy of mine just built that. Now I got to do the chassis for it, or not the chassis, the body. Just the body alone and the cage work looks like a week's worth of time to build. I'd say about 5 to 6 LMTs. So there's 4 of just the FMS Max Smashers here now. So, like I said, the little stuff I can keep managed in this little area here. There's the big stuff that's problematic, and then all the radios that go along with all of it. And I just this summer hit that wall of like overwhelmed, and so I just started selling stuff, and so I've sold a couple of the 3S infractions and the TLR Tune Typhon I traded. Yeah, I don't even remember anymore. There's been a bunch I've been selling or trying to sell. More coming. I got 4 of the Sen trucks. I forgot about those. 6 if you count the monster trucks. 7 if you count the little Sen. What is the little looks like a bug. It's not a bug. It's the what's that car company called? It wasn't the Jimny. It was the other one, the white one. I can't believe I can't think of it. Anyway, there's just too much. And then the Team Associated stuff just came, and the Sen rally car, and I've got stuff still new in boxes. I have the new Losi, not the new one, but whatever the special edition mini T thing was, or mini. Yeah, I mean, it's still in the box. In fact, it's right there. It's the JRXT racing monster truck. So, Fiat. Gosh. Yeah, the little white Fiat. Kind of looks like a Tamiya, but ready to run. So, I need to take a break from doing videos and just straight sell stuff. Like, clean them up, make them look like $1 million again, fix them up, and just start selling stuff. The ones I've sold for bottom dollar. I sold that Traxxas that I ran over with the monster truck for, I don't even remember, it was like $350, something like that, for $1,000 truck. And it ran like it was brand new. But I mean, what kind of a price tag can you put on a truck you've run over with the monster truck? I mean, something's bound to go wrong at some point, and they'd blame me for it. So, yeah. That's all to say That's why I've done less recently, is because I've just been so overwhelmed by the amount and the process of even getting out to do anything. And so I am going to be working to reduce the amount and the clutter so that I can focus on new stuff or the ones that I really like. Like I know the ones I won't get rid of. I probably won't get rid of any clodbusters. But like the Michigan, I haven't driven that really since the first 2 weeks I had it. Super cool, but then it became like impossible to find for a little bit, and I'm like, ooh, I better not damage this. And then it's just sat there. Um, I have the big FMS ones, the Willys Jeep and the Jimneys, and yeah, I mean, I could just keep sitting here, and the more that I sit here, I think of more that are sitting up there on shelves or sitting in the garage on the floor, or sitting, falling out of boxes somewhere, somewhere. So, yeah, it's the one thing I will say is it's crazy how quickly it all accumulated. I got to the point, so I was helping my mom move, and seeing the stuff that she had accumulated in the 44 years she lived at the house she was at. She still hasn't sold it, but was an eye opener to me. Like, I don't want my garage to be that at one point where it's like, why in the hell did you hang on to this, all of this stuff? Like, you don't use it. It's never like you haven't used it in 30 years. Why is it in a box in the garage? It kind of hit home to me, like, there's all these cars that I don't use, and they're getting in the way of me enjoying the ones that I want to use because I can't find the stuff for them, or I can't, they're just in the way. So, I mean, I got mad vans now that I think about it, and a Kaiju, and like a custom built rock bouncer, and just so much stuff that I don't use because there's all this new stuff that I don't even care about. Some of it that comes in, honestly, like, it's maybe fun to try. Like, I used to get something like I can't believe that this has been in a box for 2 months, right? There would have been a time where if a new RC had come or I'd bought a new one, I'd have had it out and done an unboxing video and like 3 other videos in the first day that I had it. Now this is sat in a box for 2 months, never had a video made on it. This has never been opened until right now when it accidentally opened when I was pulling it up here. Totally intended to do a video on it when I bought it. So I don't do shelf queens. I don't just buy a limited edition to hold it on a shelf, which this is number 206 at 5,000. So if somebody's really looking for number 206, that's where it is. That never happened. That never happened. I wouldn't have gotten like a new cedar motor in the mail to put into a car and not gotten to it in 3 weeks. That's what's happening at this point, and it's just overwhelming. So that's the reality of it, guys. Like, something did fall on my head, and it was a light that my wife had borrowed for a work meeting they did, a Zoom call, and they just brought back and put down here, but then into the stand right. So it's sitting almost a bevel here. It's just not open enough to actually support itself. And so it's just falling over. So yeah. We can take some free RC cars from you, Trey Posty says, right? You know what? I will be doing a giveaway. I have some giveaway stuff and ideas already. So that's coming. So you're not wrong on that. Some of it I'm going to give away because, and I have given away a few, and I actually am giving one away tomorrow night. And the way that I've said it is like, there's some of this stuff that's been given to me, and it just feels good to give back. So definitely doing that with some of it for sure. Hello, RC. Hello, people, he says. But yeah, I would just say, if your dream is to do the YouTube thing and to do some of this stuff, it can be really fun. Like, it's not gonna lie, it can be really fun. But if you don't manage it well, and I would honestly say I haven't managed it well, like the fact that I haven't been getting rid of this, you watch some channels, RC Sailors, whatever, they'll get them in and they'll turn and burn them. Like, you'll see them on eBay and all that, like, pretty quick. And I haven't done that. Part of it is like I felt like some of them would send upgrades, and then they'd be like, "Oh, I don't have the car anymore. I sold it." So yeah. So I'm trying to manage better so that this, like, the fun got sucked out, like, this summer for me, for sure. And I don't know what it was. But I really feel like, and then you become like a slave at some point too to people, and they're like, "Hey, we sent you that. Where's the video on it?" And it's like, "Hey, get in line." Like, there's there's a lot of people that are sending stuff. So, you are your own boss, but you're not. So, uh, yeah, I'll be careful what I say, because it's, I love the companies that I do get to work with. There's a lot of them that I love getting to work with. But there is that level of, you are still working for people. And like, if you want to keep up a good reputation, which I feel like mine in the last 2 months has not been something I'd be proud of, because it has gotten so overwhelming with the amount that came in and like trying to keep up. But also, I've been going to events and doing a whole bunch of other stuff that you just hit this wall where, like, how will I ever dig out of this at this point? Like, do I just scrap it and like, just, oh, all of that didn't happen, and now I'm just doing videos again from here forward with anything that I'm doing now? Like, yeah. So, well, these old flapping lips, we don't make contracts, dude. Like, they just send the stuff. You don't even ask for some of it, and it just shows up in the mail. Um, and then there's other ones where they will, they will ask if you want to do something, and then you'll say, "Yeah, I'll do this video," or "I'll do that video." And so you live up to it. But there's no time stipulations usually on any of it. But the second that you say you'll do it, they expect that it was going to be done yesterday, and they don't realize that there's already 3 other things that you have, or there's time deadlines on. So, like, I have one that I have to do some stuff for, and I told them I would, and I really want to do them, but I also had like 4 other things that were on sensitive deadlines that had already come in before that. That was like, "Hey, you got to get this out when we do our release." So, but yeah, there's not many that I say, "Okay, I'll do it too." Most of it just shows up. So it's just, it gets tricky to navigate, and you know it's a lot of work. There's very little reward for doing it, other than maybe the product. So if it's not even something you really wanted and you don't plan to sell it, which is what my case was a lot of times, I didn't just like, I was going to take it and then turn around and sell it and try to make money that way from whatever it was. Like, the money that you'll actually make from the video is very little. Maybe if you can do affiliate links for it, which is not all the stuff, you might make something. But there's a lot of it where you're very cheap labor and cheap advertisement for something. So that's just the reality of it. So for those 55 of you that are in here watching, that's a little bit of the real world of how it actually works. Uh, RCG just says, a hobby taken professional is now a job, not a hobby. It's different. Glorious, but different. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and RCG just knows too, like, I spent a lot of my time since February working on that big USTE video. Spent a lot of time on that. And so that really, I mean, that was a commitment I made, and I love doing it. That was just like, I wanted to do it. And so I was in on it, and it was super fun. So yeah, but it put off other stuff. Like, I wasn't making stuff for my own YouTube, whatever, which I didn't care. Like, that wasn't really a worry that I had. So there's just some of it where, yeah, a lot of people just want to send you stuff. Hey, I'll send you this to try it. And that's where, like, I've sent some of my stuff to people and I was just like, dude, there's no obligation. Don't even feel like you have to don't mention any of the stuff I sent you. Just use it. I'm curious. I'm just curious your perspective on it at some point, because I've learned just like everybody wants to send something because it is honestly such good advertisement that when people start talking about it, orders start coming in. It's just the reality. Like, influencer marketing is a huge deal and it works. Like, people love to know when something works for somebody and how it works for somebody. And so seeing people that you trust use an item is such a boon to helping get something sold. So yeah, but that, to be honest, that interview you did with Jason was epic. You could maintain or increase views just roaming American and hooking up interviews. You could. I mean, I get paid a whole lot more money to do that professionally than I would ever make on YouTube right now, currently doing that, because that video maybe made me $20. To do that shoot, like for work, it would have been a full. I'd have probably made just rolling in and doing it probably $2,000, something like that, like $1,500 to $2,000. So it really is pennies on the dollar unless you're a really, really massive channel. And doing it for Jason as well, there really wasn't products in there that I could point to even do like affiliate links on. So yeah, so you can do high quality content and make nothing for it on YouTube. That's just the way it works. So yeah, the UFCE video took off pretty quick. It did them 160,000 views. So if you were to do that as money, I don't know what that would be. Every 1,000 views is, what, all depends. I mean, maybe it made him $100. Maybe, like, it's not. It's not how that works. So yeah, it's crazy. Like, you'd have to find a super niche thing and then have your views just building on themselves. Like, the longer that they're on there and they're still getting views and you're building a library, then over time, yeah, even on the high side, $10. I was gonna say $3 to $5 for 1,000 views. So I guess maybe it made them, yeah, $300 maybe. So yeah. Yeah, Troy, I really wanted to do like RC documentaries and RC profile videos. It's been like, I did one on Jason Rona back in the day. I really had intended to get in and do that kind of stuff. And it just hasn't really happened. The Jason one was pretty easy because he was local. And we could go in and shoot something like that in like 4 hours, something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I wish it was easier to do a lot more like that. And maybe it is. I just haven't quite found it. So, all of this is just like, it's the not playing with toy cars part that's the thing. Like, yeah. The toy car part of it's really fun still. It's some of the other stuff that gets dragging you down. But again, the new toy cars right now is the easy thing because the radio's in here. As long as I don't mess up where this is and put the car back in here, which I'll do right now, so I'm not looking for it at a later point. This one will be easy to do a video on because I'll know where the remote is, the battery, and everything are in the box. And I won't be searching for it for 45 minutes. I still need to make a King of RC video about that whole I get an hour's my RC cars give me an hour's worth of run time. How about yours? 45 minutes of running around my house looking for crap. 15 minutes of running the car. Yeah. I say every day I get to play with toy cars for a living, but I almost never get to play with the car for work, right? Yeah. And there's a level of stress too that comes into it. Like when you're going out and you're really wanting to do something well and things are just not clicking because you're wanting to shoot a really epic video. I think I kind of felt that with the Sen video because the car looked so beautiful and these sand trails just seemed like the perfect like scale size of a width and all that to make like a really cinematic. And people still said it was pretty cool and cinematic, but it's not what I envisioned in my head with drone shots flying over it, going down the trails. And I was just fighting to make it turn right because of that stupid rock that got stuck in there. But yeah. So we'll get back to it. Like, and it may be more minis because of winter coming. But there's definitely we'll get back into it hardcore here. But interestingly, when we talked fishing at the beginning of this, and I'm messing with this fishing hook sticking into my Fiskars mat here, trying to poke it in. That's just been something I found enjoyment from because I'm not doing it for work. I have a fish channel. It's got like 10,000 subscribers on it. And because I'm not posting to it right now, it's about to lose its my ability to earn income from it, even though I've got some videos with like a million views, whatever. But I'm not doing it for that. I'm just going out to go fishing and enjoy the fish side of things. And I'm not making it work. And it's so relaxing. Where the going out to run with a car these days is like, I got to get something out of it. Like, I'm not just going out there for a stress relief. I'm going out there to create something. And if it's not going well, it becomes, instead of like a stress relief, it becomes a stress maker. And then I've got to come back and try and make something out of it in editing. And, a lot of the time is just spent here. So those are all things take into account. Like, it's also antisocial. Somebody was just talking about this. Oh, it was Rich Morgan from the RC Network was talking with Francis, who's about to hit 100,000 for his channel, the RC Review. It's at like 95,000 subscribers and getting about 1,000 a month of subscribers. So he should hit it this year, 100,000. And just saying how like he got burned out on making the videos. And I was kind of just like, man, I'm feeling that right now. Like I'm feeling what he's saying. He stopped making videos. He's what got me, one of the people that got me into RC cars was the RC Network. And he recently, within 2 years ago or something, stopped making videos completely. So, and so reading that post literally today was one of those things where I'm like, man, am I about to hit that wall? Like I don't want to hit that wall. I love making the videos still. And I enjoyed today making that Sen video, and I did it different. I decided not to put any music to it, and I didn't slow motion it. Like the whole goal in the beginning was a slow motion, like the trailer I did for it, the little teaser. And I just let it roll like what would be realistic driving would be like as a person driving it. And it was just different. It wasn't about anything other than kind of giving a real life perspective of it. So, but yeah, I mean, it happens. Like he went from being one of the big dog RC channels to just not making anything anymore. So I don't want that to happen. So part of it all scares me I'm just an open person. Like, it's as real as I try to be about the cars I review. I try to be here. I don't sugarcoat what's going on. Uh, so, and I don't want to make the channel so fake and bubbly over the top when I'm doing reviews on stuff that it's, you can do that. You can get a bunch of views and you can do a whole bunch of that kind of crap, but make everything seem super in sync, but like for RC car reviews. So not trying to be that kind of a channel. We just kind of tell it how it is and do what we do. But yeah. Josh just nailed it. RC just says a stressor. The real Cletus. There could never be a bad video if the king of RC is in it. Yeah, RCGS. I'm not even worried about it being work. The hard part about it is like there are more lucrative ways to make it work than YouTube, I think. Like I could go work for one of the companies doing their media stuff and actually, probably make decent money doing it. Whereas the YouTube is not at this level for me, for my level, for especially not really feasible. It's like I could make more money if I just went and worked at Taco Bell. So that's not kind of where things are with it. I have a little store thing that helps. That's way more lucrative than YouTube is. So it's kind of just one of those interesting things. But yeah. Yeah, Harley, I like what you guys have been doing. He said that I definitely changed things up a lot to keep going. I would have quit a long time ago with just doing reviews. Yeah. I think I like what you're doing with the new stuff is you're taking it and you're building something new out of it. And you're putting your own stamp on it. And so it's not just like, oh, here's what I got, unbox. This is what it does, done. So that's cool. And you guys come up with creative ways. You're talking about spin the wheel and budgets, and that's just fun, creative content. But yeah, work is necessary. Just my opinion. Oh, RCGS work is totally necessary. But if that's really the case, I'll just go back to video production and skip all this because I make a ton of money doing just video that's not RC related. But yeah, I'm not saying I'm not trying to work. I'm just saying trying to do this is so much work for very little reward or money, in monetarily, at the end of the month. Oh man, RC is totally. Yeah, you got to enjoy life. I'm addicted to those talking hands. Oh. Yeah, what Josh does with the news is really cool too. The RC news is fantastic. And some of that stuff I know is like they do it, that's a grind because they do it weekly, week in, week out. They don't take a break from it. It's just go. And that's tough. So I admire like crazy them for the work that they put into it. So, but we're not getting out of it. We've slowed down this summer. I'd say the last 2 months on it for sure. And I say that as I've been posting more videos recently, but it's definitely the grind has gotten to the point where like the companies that want you to do stuff and they want stipulations, that kind of stuff's done for me now. Like I would rather do stuff that I enjoy and just get back to that. I've got some videos of running like RC races with monster trucks in our yard that I haven't posted into some of that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm going to go with. is just making the most out of what I want to do with RC and just enjoying that side of it. So, hey, RC amigos, what's up? Yeah, Harley, the news is the most work I do. That is the hardest thing for me to do. I'm sure, man. I was just watching the one today. The amount of research that you have to do, you're trying to track stuff down. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't really do ticket stuff, the real Cletus, the waffles and all that kind of stuff. Um, I've just never really liked it. So that's kind of my thing. Yeah, scale news updates better never go away. You need to find a way to do it with AI, if nothing else. If you can't do it anymore, at least AI generate that stuff and get it out there for us. RC Patina guy, what's going on, my man? So we I've got some stuff to do with crawler innovations for some of these monster truck tires. These ones have them in them now, the J Concepts ones. So we're going to be running these probably on the new High Roller 2. We got the FMS ones with the foams in them like this. So that's a little bit bigger tire. So these kind of help fill that gap, which has been great. Lots of little testing things that we've been doing. We're testing an ESC for somebody here, which I need to do some soldering on. And then trying to get a little fishing in before the fishing season's over. Yeah, waffles are federally illegal. Just saying. That's part of the reason I don't do it. And I don't want to have to track down the tax info on all that kind of stuff. The fishing channel. It wasn't a fishing channel when it started. It was a fish keeping channel. I had koi, and we had about 20 fish tanks in our garage in Virginia, with all different kinds of fish, from saltwater fish tanks to freshwater or little guppy tanks. And we had a decent sized koi pond in the yard. So yeah, it's called Hook Therapy. Back then it was called Creative Fish. So, but now it's called Hook Therapy. We were going to make it into a fishing channel, and I decided, you know what? We've made one hobby into work. We're not going to do that with two. So we're done with that. We'll let that channel die, which is crazy. It's got like 10,000 subs on it, but whatever. But yeah, we love to go out fishing. When we were down for the UST event, we went on a fishing charter, which was amazing, out of the Gulf, and that was super fun. That was our day off when we got there. We got there like 2 days early just to get stuff in, get the cameras all set, get prepped, and then take a fishing day. That was the kids' little surprise, or their bonus for going and helping me out, carry and lug stuff around. But yeah. All right, well, I'm going to shut this down, guys. Oh, our Simigo still got work to do before he's out. Pablo, man, praying you get it all done, dude. I know that's a bummer when you got to redo all that. Next hobby, that's what I did, dude. Keep at it. My YouTube channel is my personal one, and then I kept making RC videos, and they kept getting people following them and liking them. So I decided to change it out of my personal one, and that's what CCXRC did. Oh, tuna fishing off the Delta. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we were going out for like redfish and stuff. And what are the ones that are striped called? Like sheep's head, I guess. I guess they're we have sheephead here, but they're not quite like what they were there. But yeah, we got some big sheephead and a whole bunch of fun stuff, pufferfish and craziness. So, all right, guys, I'm out. I'm going to let you go. Hope you have an awesome evening. Late now, it's midnight here, so it's the next day. And I've got work stuff I got to get to. I have been doing other video editing stuff recently, which is also taking me away from doing the RC videos, just to kind of make up for where RC YouTube kind of fell off the last 4 months or so. So I've been doing other video projects for people and consulting and a whole bunch of stuff, which has been good. Like getting back in the professional side of the video world has been amazing. But again, there's money there for like the effort you put in when you're getting paid for it decently is nice. It's a reminder that there's still money in the industry, because at times it feels like YouTube and all that is done for pennies on the dollar for the amount of effort and work and creativity put into things. So it's been a good reminder that there's still people that'll pay for video production and the work that you put into it. So anyway, guys, I got to get up so I can edit some content from Africa, basically, in the morning. Cool video stuff. But yeah, anyway, have fun understanding. RCGs, man, good seeing you here in here, man. And we need to catch up, dude. See y'all later.